Okay, test review for Unit 1.2, linear application. So we're going to start, what is it, 48% as a decimal. Well, just a reminder, I'm using new pen, so don't. Okay, so 48%, well, technically, if there was a decimal here, it would be here. And we move it to the left twice, 1, 2. So this becomes 0.48 as a decimal. So then 5%. Decimal would be here, so move 1, 2. Well, anytime you have an empty loop, you put a 0, so this becomes 0.05. %. Decimal here, move 1, 2, 0.98. Okay, so there's turning a percent into a decimal. So now let's turn a decimal to a percent. So we're going to move it now to the right. We're going to do the opposite. So we moved it to the left to turn it into a decimal, and the right to turn it into a percent. So 1, 2. So this becomes 1%. 1, 2. This becomes 60%. And then 1, 2, this becomes 34%. Might have a vacancy. Okay, so now I know that mine has tables. I put them there just to make this easier. But just a reminder, this is an investment. This is motion, and this is mixture. So this first one, I know it's mixture because it literally says a chemist wishes to strengthen a mixture. Okay. Okay, so it says a chemist wishes to strengthen a mixture that is 10% to one that is 40%. So this is my want. This is what I want to create. So remember, I want the 40%, which as a decimal, I move it to the left twice, and it becomes 0.4 or 0.40, either way. Okay, and then it says a chemist, so we know we have a 10%. Okay, so I know I have this 10%, which is 0.10. And it also says 12 liters of 10%, so I know this is 12 liters. So it says how much pure, which is 100% alcohol should be added. Well, if I change that to a decimal, I get 1.0. And it says how much, we don't know, so we use X. Then remember, if I'm mixing two things, I just add the amounts. And now we multiply. So 0.10 times 12 is 1.2. 1 times X is just 1X. 0.40, we'll just multiply this in a minute. 0.4 times X plus 12. So remember, now I set it up as a problem. So since it's a mixture, it's literally my first one plus my second one equals my mixture, what I want. So now we're going to solve. So I'm going to distribute. So I get 0.4x, 0.4 times 12, it's 4.8. Bring down my 1.2 plus 1x. Now, I always like to move my smallest x first, which is this one. So minus 0.4x minus 0.4x. That cancels, and I'm left with 4.8 on that side. 1.2 is still there, and 1 minus 0.4, 1 minus 0.4 is 0.6. So I'm left with positive 0.6x. Now that I have all my x's on the left, I need to move my numbers without x to the right. So minus 1.2, minus 1.2. So I have 0.6x equals 4.8 minus 1.2, 3.6. And so my last step, I'm going to bring this over here so y'all can see, is to divide both sides, because this is 0.6 times x, the opposite is divide. And I'm left with x equals, well, 3.6 divided by 0.6 is 6. So knowing that, I'm going to read and plug in. So it says how much pure? Well, x equals how much pure? So it's 6 liters. Okay, so James invested, so right away I know this is investment, because it says invested, $5,000 at 7%, so exactly 5,000 at 7%, which would be 0.07. Okay, and then it tells me he invested 6,500 at 9%. It doesn't tell me time, it says annual, so we know it's a year. And it says, what is his annual income from the investment? That's this. What money is he making? So this one's pretty simple. So remember, the way we set these up is we multiply the top row. And we add it to the bottom row multiplied. And that equals our annual income. So the cool thing about this problem is you can literally simplify it in your calculator, because there's no x on the left. I'm going to do still one piece at a time. So this is 350 plus $585 equals x. So 350 plus 585. So x equals 935. Okay, so what was his annual income? We know it's $935. Okay, let's look at the back. 2 cars leave the airport. So right away I know that 2 cars are leaving, so it's going to be motion. And travel in opposite directions. So let's say this is the airport. And they're going opposite directions. So we'll say one travels 35 miles per hour. So I know that's one of my rates. And the other travels 25 miles per hour. So I know that's my other rate. And how many hours will the 2 cars be 100 miles apart? So I don't know time, but I know my total distance. It's going to be 100 miles apart. So I'm assuming they leave the airport at the exact same time, because it doesn't tell me otherwise. So time is going to be the same, which is x. So remember, you don't ever plug anything into distance here. You're multiplying. So 35 times x is 35x. 25 times x is 25x. And I know that the 2 are going to equal the 100 miles apart, because I'm wanting to know how long it'll take for them to be 100 miles apart. So I'm going to have, this is represented by 25x, this is represented by 35x. So my pink line plus my blue line needs to equal 100 miles. So knowing that, I'm going to solve. 25x plus 35x, 10, 60x equals 100. Divide by 60. And I get x equals 100 divided by 60. So I get 1.66666667. What I want you to realize is we don't like ugly decimals. And it also says how much time. Would you ever tell somebody that time? No. And I also want you to realize this is hours. Okay, so we know it's going to be 1 hour. You can literally do 0.6666 all the way across the screen times 60, and it's 40 minutes. So it's 1 hour and 40 minutes. Okay. How many liters of pure baking soda must be added? So I write away into this mixture, which I already put in my table, to 200 liters of 30% to get a 60%. So I know that's what I want, a 60%, which is 0.60. Okay, it says how much pure baking soda, how much, or how many liters, so that's X. We don't know the amount of pure, which is 100%, as a decimal, which is 1.0, should be added to 200 liters of 30%, which 30% as a decimal is 0.30. And I said 200 liters. So I know my total mixture is going to be X plus 200. So now I multiply. 1 times X is 1X. 0.3 times 200 is 60. And then I'm going to distribute this in my problem. So I have 1X plus, remember my mixture, I add the top two to equal my mixture. And then I solve. So this gives me 0.6x, 0.6 times 200 is 120. Okay, so now I like to move my smallest x first, so I'm going to do minus 0.6x. That gives me 0.4x plus 60 equals 120. So minus 60 minus 60. So I'm going to bring this over here. So I have 0.4x equals 120 minus 60 is 60. Divide by 0.4. Divide by 0.4. And I get x equals, not minus, sorry, 150. So it says, how many liters of pure baking soda will pure baking soda represent by x, the amount? So it's going to be 150. So 150 liters. Eleven says 2 planes leave, so right away I know it's motion. And travel in opposite directions. So again, leave BWI, I don't know what that is. And travel in opposite directions. One travels at 350 miles per hour. And the other travels at 325. And how many hours will the 2 planes be 1,800 miles apart? So it's the same as last one. I want to know they're 1,800 miles apart. So I don't know time. But I know one plane's traveling 325, and I'm assuming they left at the same time. And then the other one's traveling 350, and they left at the same time. So this is 350x. And this is 325x. So I know that the blue line plus the pink line should equal 1,800. So 325x plus 350x equals my 1,800 miles. So now I solve. Well, 325 plus 350 is 675, because they both have an x, so we can combine them. They're like terms. Now I'm going to divide both sides by 675. 75. And I get x equals 1,800 divided by 675 is 2.6. So again, I have the 0.667, so I have 2.667 repeating. Okay, so I want you to realize, again, I can do the same thing. I know it's going to be 2 hours, but I also know 0.667 gave us how many minutes? 40. So I know this is going to be in 40 minutes. But in case you didn't watch that piece, so we can do 0.66666 all the way across the screen times, well, there's 60 minutes in an hour, so it's 40 minutes. Okay, Tom invested some money in 2 planes. Plans, not planes. Goodness gracious. Okay, plan. So invested right away. I know this is investment. So it says plan 1 is an APR of 6%. So I know 6% as a decimal is 0.06. And plan 2 is an APR of 11%. So I know this one is going to be 0.11. If he invested $8,000 more in plan 1, so the first one, this one's plan 1. This one's plan 2. So if he invested $8,000 more in plan 1 than in plan 2, so plan 1 has $8,000 more. So X plus 8,000. So plan 2 is just going to be X. We don't know. And earned an annual income of 20,370. Well, annual income is a year. It's a lot of money, so this is going to be a lot of money. Okay, again, we're going to set it up. So I'm going to put this in parentheses because it's 2 terms. 2,000, not 100, times 0.06 times 1 plus X times 0.11 times 1 equals 20, 30, 70. Okay. So they both have X. This isn't like the other investment. I'm going to have to simplify. So this one's easier for me. So 0.11 times X, well, 1. So watch. 0.11 times 1 is just 0.11. And then times X, I can't do that in the calculator. So this is going to be positive 0.11X. Okay. I know it's still going to equal 20370. So again, the same concept here. 0.06 times 1 is just 0.06. So now I have to distribute. 0.06 times X is 0.06X. 0.06 times 8,000 is 480. Okay, and so now I'm going to solve. Okay, so I know these are like terms. So I have 0.06 plus 0.11. That gives me 0.17x plus 480 equals 20370. So now I need to move what doesn't have an x to the other side. And lastly, divide 0.17, 0.17. I get x equals, we'll divide this by 0.17. 117,000. So now read my question. It said, how much did he invest at 11%? Well, 11% is just my x, so he invested 117,000. There you go. Good luck on your test. Study hard. Ask questions if you have them.